Hello, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. Today we have got a very international audience again, a lot of people from all parts of the world. Welcome to this Want to Taste webinar series. Today we are talking about beverages, and I would like to welcome Michael and Sarah, who will be co-hosting today's webinar as well. My name is Jan Hagenbeek from Want to Taste, and again, most welcome to this webinar series. Today you will learn about the go-to platform, about ingredients and innovations. You'll learn about ingredients, trends in the beverages, and by Sarah. Then Michael will take over for coloring foods and beverage applications. Then of course we'll have a question and answer session, and we will also then share how you can obtain a free set of coloring food samples for you to try at the bench at your work or maybe even at home. If you have any questions, please fill them in the question side, and we will come back to your questions at the Q&A session later today. We roughly expect this webinar to last for about 40 minutes in total. If you look into Want to Taste, Want to Taste being your host, it's the go-to platform for ingredients and innovation. Whether you need ingredients, either in larger or in smaller SKUs or minimum order quantities are very low, please contact us. We have over 1,250 ingredients and more to come on a daily basis. What we like to provide you with is quick sampling, transparent, honest, and fair service, specifications, technical data sheets, all easy findable and available at wanttotast.com, where you can also very easily select your ingredients and order them. Mentioned already a low MOQ, and we can support you all the way through ideation to the final launch of your product in the marketplace. We have service partners, we have supply partners, and a huge network which we can supply to you guys. To give you a clear overview about some of the trusted partners you see here on this screen, quite a lot of probably all say well-known companies and names to you, which all are trusted supply partners. Any questions, please feel free to contact me directly. You find my contact details here on this sheet. And of course, we will also share a recording of this webinar at the end of the webinar, where you can also then look it back and find these details again where you need them. This brings me already to the end of my part of the presentation. You will see me back at the questions and answer session at the end of this webinar. And I'm now handing over to Sarah from Rssl.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jan Heim. Let me just make myself a presenter. 1 second. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us here today. I'm presenting on behalf of Reading Scientific Services Ltd. I'm Sarah. I'm an innovation technologist in the Product and Ingredient Innovation Department here at Rssl. I'm going to start today with a very short introduction to Rssl and then move on to explore the current trends Rssl is seeing in the beverage industry, an overview of what's driving these trends and opportunities for successful product development in these areas. So Reading Scientific Services Ltd, known as Rssl, supports the global food industry from our facility in Reading in the UK. One of our key strengths is our multidisciplinary team of more than 300 scientists with a broad range of backgrounds from chemists, biochemists to food technologists like myself. Projects are from all stages of the product lifecycle, from concept ideation through to product development, manufacturing, and even post-manufacturing support. All projects are tailored, and they can include quick support through to more detailed fundamental research. We can either assist with the whole product development process or undertake components of innovation projects, complementing clients' internal teams. So this slide summarises the broad range of research and development focused services we provide, and this includes development work carried out by the product and ingredient innovation team I work in, through to some of the analytical services we provide, such as flavour, physical and structural characterisation to evaluate ingredient choice and processing. And as I mentioned earlier, I work within our product development department. Our team are extremely busy supporting the food sector with a number of services to ensure the best products are developed and launched quickly onto the market to meet both our clients and their consumer needs. I also do a lot of work on investigation into current trends, and that's what we're going to be talking about today in the area of beverage. So to move on to the main body of my presentation, we'll be discussing the following trends today: no lower alcohol, good for you beverages, and good for the planet beverages. So the non-alcoholic beverage trend is not a new one. However, it is a trend that is set to continue for years to come. In fact, alcohol-free alternatives have been on the market for decades, though for a long time choice was very limited. Changes in drinking habits, especially in the younger population, have had a pivotal role in expansion of the alcohol-free category. And recent studies have found that in 2021, 32% of UK drinkers semi-regularly consume low and no alcohol products, up from 25% in 2020. And when asked why consumers drank these products, many quoted the ability to drive home from social events, i.e. convenience, as being equally important to the additional health benefits which come from reducing alcohol intake. And while many of these beverages are made via dealcoholization or by limiting ethanol production via fermentation, some products simply mimic their traditional beverages by excluding ethanol from their formulation. And this is an area in which the product and ingredient innovation team have experience. Ingredients such as sweeteners, flavors, botanical extracts, colors, and sensates are all important when trying to match the complex flavor profile of alcoholic drinks. And as this can be tricky to match, some manufacturers have combated this by releasing beverages centered around stronger flavors, for example, non-alcoholic margaritas, or have released products using newer, trendier ingredients such as black tea and yuzu. So here are some of the products we've seen being launched in the past few years in the no-low category. And as you might expect, there are launches across the category, including beers, wines, and spirits. And this includes the ready-to-drink mixes for consumers on the go, alongside niche mocktails, including this alcohol-free no-grony and sparkling tea alternatives to replace sparkling wine. And whilst many developments have been made to reach no-low claim, developers have also started to explore a new avenue of health-conscious alcoholic drinks. For example, this Beefeater gin, which contains 20% alcohol instead of the usual 40%, giving consumers even more opportunity to drink mindfully. Similar launches in this area of health-focused consumption include hard seltzers, which first became popular in the USA and have since branched out across Europe. Whilst these have an alcohol content of 4.5%, similar to beer, they are low in calories and low in sugar, allowing consumers to drink mindfully in a different way. Expect this trend to continue as we see more consumers moving into a health-conscious headspace, which brings me nicely onto my next topic. The next trend I'm going to touch on today is good for you beverages. In a post-pandemic world, consumers are still very much focused on health and well-being and are looking for products which are a one-stop shop for health. Today, I'll be talking specifically about two main areas: gut health and functional ingredients. The gut health movement has been a popular trend across many categories, including beverages. And when we talk of gut health, this can be further split into two sectors. These being prebiotics, usually comprised of indigestible fibers, and which feed the gut bacteria, or probiotics, which are live bacteria. In beverages, fermented probiotic drinks such as kombucha and kefir dominate the gut health beverage market. But this year, expect to see more drinks beverages making use of prebiotic fibers, or even beverages using a two-pronged approach, whereby fibers are added to fermented beverages. Similarly, expect these different flavor options for these fermented drinks, such as this water-based fruit-flavored kefir and a kombucha-based alcohol alternative. And in terms of good for you beverages, gut health is just one small sector. In fact, consumers are more interested in immunity as a whole, and so may look to beverages with functional ingredient claims to achieve this. Health-conscious consumers have long been interested in drinks which boast additional protein and vitamin contributions, and so this is not a new trend, but it has paved the way, allowing beverages to also provide a more holistic approach to health. Developers are delving more into adaptogenic ingredients, for example, turmeric and galangal, both suggested to be immunity boosters. Other functional ingredients are increasing in popularity due to implied contributions to mental well-being, For example, the use of cannabis oils in ready-to-drink soft drinks. And whilst the use of cannabis oils may be met with some skepticism from consumers, relaxation and stress relief may be achieved through other functional ingredients. For example, ashwagandha, a growing popular addition to many tea-based beverages. So here are some of the products which will utilize the added benefits from functional ingredients. Here we have products targeting consumers interested in gut health, including this new water-based kefir by Number One, a major brand in the UK kombucha market. Health and diet often go hand in hand in consumers' mind, and here are some of the products available for those looking to get the most from their beverages. And whilst protein fortification has been popular for a while, we're seeing an increase in vitamin fortified or nutritionally complete meal replacers such as Huel. We expect vitamin fortification to spread across the subcategories, for example, in this Oshi beverage, which is a vitamin fortified kombucha. And here are some of the beverages on the market making use of adaptogenic ingredients. For example, Trip is a carbonated soft drink containing cannabis oils to promote stress and anxiety relief, and Olipop, which is a prebiotic botanical drink which includes calendula and rosehip extracts, believed to have anti-inflammatory benefits. And the final trend I'm going to touch on today is good for the planet. This is a trend that will likely keep popping up across food and drink categories as environmental uncertainties remain at the forefront of consumer minds. The beverage industry should focus on using sustainable ingredients, for example, wonky veg and waste byproducts, sustainable processing, and sustainable packaging, including lightweight alternatives to glass to reduce their environmental impact. Products making use of waste ingredients already include Dash Water, a B Corp product which uses wonky veg to make their carbonated beverages. Similarly, this Nescafe native cascara drink has been launched which uses upcycled coffee berries, which would usually be wasted during the harvesting of coffee beans. And according to Mintel, the number of food and drink launches claiming a carbon neutral status has doubled since 2019. Sustainable processing can be achieved through the use of renewable energy. For example, this Flor de Caña Eco Rum is not only distilled using 100% renewable energy, but also the producers plant over 50,000 trees every year. Meanwhile, Tenzing Energy is one of the first drinks manufacturers claiming a carbon negative status. In terms of sustainability, packaging is often demonized by media and consumers, particularly plastic packaging. However, the use of glass comes with its own environmental challenges. Expect to see a surge in alternative lightweight packaging. For example, this Number One wine, which makes use of a cardboard bottle, and this Darnley's gin, which comes in an eco-friendly lightweight pouch. So to summarize, there's still plenty of opportunity for innovation and development across the beverage category, and we expect a lot of overlap across the trends detailed today. Developing products to suit trends comes with their own challenges, and Rssl is able to assist clients who may be looking to overcome these. Thank you all for listening and joining me today. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them at the end or connect with me or any of the team here at Rssl, and we'd be happy to help you. I'm now going to hand over to Michael to continue today.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. So, do you see my screen?
Yes, Michael, we can, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, today, top food and beverage trends, we're going to talk about coloring foods, so plant-based food colorings. My name is Michael. I'm from Colourfood Professional, and I'm in the development of the business development team, to be honest. And first, I want to start actually with to talk about who we are as a company of Colourfood Professional. I want to give you a little overview about how does it get colorful in general, and about the product range we're able to do with Colourfood Professional, and then some applications regarding beverages. So, and then at the end, as Jan already said, we have a FAQ session. So who we are, Colourfood Professional, we are a company based in the Netherlands at the border from Germany and Aachen. I'm right now in Germany, Munich, Germany, so we're here as well, but we act worldwide and Europe-wide. We have two brands, Colourfood Professional as a B2B brand, and Eat a Rainbow as a B2C brand in smaller unit sizes, for example, for the retail and for the end consumers. We are a family-based company with over 40 years of experience, and we basically come from the industry side. So all our products actually have the food industry standards, and we control the whole area from the field into the product, into the bottle. So it comes all from one hand, basically. How does it get colorful in general? In general, of course, we do still have a lot of artificial food colors. Those are mainly synthetic dyes, azo dyes, for example, as well. And those colors are getting more and more banned, for example, in the European Union. They're, sad smiley, because, of course, they're at the lower end in this field. And because we do have, for example, natural food colors, of course, a bit better. They still have a declaration required and have a natural raw material source. But I want to give you a little excursus, for example, how natural food colors, where they come from and how they're made, to ask ourselves the question if we would consider that as a real natural base and a real natural color source. Yes, give you here a little short. Of course, it's a really short production line, but we do have a raw material, natural raw material source. For example, we use some solvent, some aluminium in the production process, glycerin, and then at the end we get a common red, a really common dye, which is still used. And the question is, do we consider that as a natural or real natural product? Well, if you're using 100,000 of those insects, we get a kilogram of common red. So the point, to be honest, is there are issues with those colors as well as, for example, the declaration part. So those colors all are additives. So basically means you have to use an E number, as well as, for example, at the azo colors, there you do know the slogan may impact activities and attention in children. So this is the side we really have to be aware of while using those type of colors. Because the point is, do we actually need those? We do have really great plant-based alternatives, and those are coloring foods. So coloring foods are basically made completely out of fruit and vegetables. So there's no declaration required at all. And I give you a little example how those products are made. We really use the source from the field, for example, just physical processes and water. The whole time it's a food product. You can eat it through the whole production process, and then you get really, really wonderful products out of it, and that's completely natural. And on the other hand, it's really great because coloring foods have the great ability that you can basically, they're clean label. They're 100% clean label in the application. There are no E numbers required, and the great thing is they're just what they are. This is a food ingredient, so you just put them actually on the label and part of the food ingredients list and call it what they are. Here, for example, a concentrate of paprika and carrot. That's it. So it's a really clean label, a fantastic clean label source to color your products. And to give you now a little overview about the declaration I just told you. Well, first we have the azo dyes, like I said, it's additive with E numbers, and in cases with additional warning, they have to be used. We have the natural dyes. They're a bit cleaner, of course, but they're still, it's a dye. It is additive with an E number as well. And then we have the great possibilities to use a color food as a food coloring product, which are basically just in the ingredients list what there are. For example, here, carrot and black currant. So yeah, it's a really nice to see actually how they're built up. Now I want to give you an overview about Colourfood Professional, of our products, but like I said, food colorings in general, and what they have a great possibilities in new products. For our range, for example, we have a fantastic powder range. They're really high-tech products. Like I said, from the industrial level side, we have 7 standard colors in the powder range. So from violet to blue, for example, they come in 2 different sizes, in smaller and bigger patches. They're really handy to use. It's great because they're not huge patches to use in your production facilities, but really handy for your workers and in the production facilities. The powders are fat-suitable powder colors. So like I said, it's a great high-tech product actually to use, and they have a long durability, a really long shelf life because it's a powder. And then on the other hand, we do have our liquids, which are probably more interesting today because of the beverage part. There we do have 7 colors as well, so like a huge range of colors we can provide you in 3 different packages, from small to bigger as well. Really easy to handle, like I just said earlier. They're water-based. You can do like cool possible swirl effects in your products. Yeah, this is like an overview of the products we can provide you with. And now I want to start actually into the application part. So first of all, what do I need to consider? Like I said earlier, food colorings are basically, it's a food product, a real food product. So a couple of things you need to be aware of while using that to get fantastic results. First of all, because of the antioxidants in some of the red products, the pH level really depends on the color depends on the pH level. So you can get fantastic colors from like a red to a violet. So you have a huge range actually of color depending on the pH level on one single product. For example, your cherry red or the unicorn pink powder. And I want to give you a little example actually how that works in while you're using it. Now we have here, for example, cherry red, and we colored a gin with it. So, for example, imagine you're in a bar, cocktail bar, etc., and you color your gin with that, or you base whatever you like to color with. And now what we actually do is, because now you have like a really like a darker violet color shade. And now we're using tonic water, which brings changes the pH level, lowers the pH level. And I want to show you actually how the effect will be on that product. So as you can see here, now it really changes into a deeper red. So it's really nice. You can actually use as, of course, like in some of the customer effects as well. But on the other hand, you need to be aware of what's your pH level, for example, at some of the red colors, the color foods, and then to see, you know, where you end, which color range. The second thing is, for example, the heat stability. But I want to talk about the stability in general because of beverage products as well. So first of all, about the heat stability. About coloring foods, for example, the spirulina blue, like it says, is from the spirulina, so it's actually a blue protein. If you have a higher impact with heat, you will lose some of the color pigments. It is just natural how it is. They're really, really strong blue colors, but at some point, actually, you will have an impact on it, and this is the main effect is on the blue. And because green is just a mix of blue and yellow, you will have this effect basically on the green as well. So in case, for example, pasteurization, you need to be aware of that. So maybe do a bit of a higher dosage, as well as, for example, it's a green product. Sometimes it's like, for example, in the bakery industry and other industries, you can mix your own green with blue and yellow, use a little bit more of the blue, and you will have like a Turkish. And then later, after the heat process kicks in, you will have amazing green color coming out. So it's possible, just need to be aware of that. The other thing about the beverage products is there are limits actually, especially in the beverage products with coloring foods, because higher alcohol level and, for example, a really long shelf life really stresses the product quite a lot because it is a really natural food color source. So there will be things possible, but there will be definitely some applications which are not possible. For example, if you use a really high alcohol percentage and a really long shelf life. So you have to be aware of that. And of course, you have to do testings how the product will work or during a longer period of time. The third thing is mixing colors, which is quite interesting because you can mix all those colors like you would mix it in your with regular colors, how the rainbow basically works. And this is quite interesting, for example, for orange colors. I want to show you in a second, especially in beverage drinks. But first of all, as you probably know, with a red and a yellow, you get your own orange. So like I said earlier, blue and yellow, you get your own green. So you mix your own fantastic colors you prefer and you need to use for your product. So now, like I said in a second ago, regarding orange. The orange, for example, from coloring foods, has carotenoids in it, which is basically a fat-soluble pigment. So it will definitely make your drink more cloudy, as you can see here in the middle. So it's just a natural product. It's a natural way how it works. If you don't mind, it works perfectly, of course. But if you say, no, I want a clean orange, a really clear orange to look through, like I said, there's a great way to mix a red and a yellow, and you get a really clear orange color out of it. So just to be aware of that. Last but not least, of course, always the question for yourself: what's the product, the best product for your application, liquid or powder? Of course, because we're here in the beverage, more in the beverage sector, the liquids would be probably your first choice. But you can always use the powder as well, with water, with oils, whatever, to make it liquid or gel out of it, to be basically. Well, now let's see some applications. The beverage part is one part of applications, of course, coloring foods be used. We had a webinar earlier a month ago where it was all about bakery products. We have another one about, for example, ice creams. So the range of applications for coloring foods is huge. Now I want to just give you a little short example about in the beverage sector. Yogurt drinks, for example, of course, fantastic products to color with, like even standard yogurts in the retail industry or in the food industry will be colored with coloring foods. You can use plain yogurt and you can make fantastic products out of it. Like Sarah said earlier, for example, for healthy drinks, for cool healthy drinks, you can create fantastic products out of this. Another my colleague just told me that is like a really cool modern trend right now. Dalgona coffee. I don't know if you heard from that. I think it's quite cool. And we tried that and made a Dalgona coffee out of it. There, for example, we colored the milk in blue, and then you have an amazing topic. Or, for example, at other products, coffee products, you can use the coffee and, for example, color the whipped cream on top for customers. For example, in a coffee shop. So I think it will be a really nice touch, a color touch on top. Then soft drinks. I mean, of course, soft drinks work really nice. Lemonades, iced teas, etc., etc. They're great products to color, even with a long shelf life, no alcohol in it. You can make fantastic drinks here. But like Sarah said earlier about the trend regarding products or even like alcoholic products with no alcohol in it, it will work perfectly because it doesn't really stress the product a lot, and they're really stable, even like if you have a longer shelf life. So juices as well. You can do great juice mixes. You can color those. I mean, they're not clear in general, but you can produce fantastic, cool looking drinks. Even like you can optimize your color, getting an impact on the color, or change or make a cool mix between the taste and the color actually of the product for your customers. Liquor, because they're cloudy, even they have alcohol in it, it works quite well. Egg liquor, for example, just if you want to get a bit more yellow, to, like I said, optimize your product a bit, works quite well, fantastic. And if you just be like more creative in some parts, if your customer wants to have like the matcha feeling in your product, the green matcha, but you don't want to have a caffeine in your products, you can of course use, for example, coloring foods to get a nice green in your product. So just be creative how you can optimize and or color your drinks as you wish. And like I said earlier, try it, do good tests with it, and that's why we provide you with samples, for example, like Jan has said earlier, and you get a great results out of it. So just to come to the conclusion about the coloring foods, first of all, like I said, they're just colors made from fruit and vegetables. It's a vegan product. It's really great. They're 100% clean label, so you don't need any declaration while using those. And just be aware of the application. Like I said, pH and heat a bit, but otherwise they're working amazing. And if you consider a little bit of the application tricks, you get fantastic results out of it. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, please contact me, give me a ring or email. And yeah, now I will forward over to Jan again regarding the Q&A session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah and Michael, for your presentations. Very interesting and very, very, very clear. We received until now about 10 questions. There's still room for more, so please keep sending the questions and we can talk about them anyway. Here, for example, the first question I have here on the list is, what would be the factors to consider when you're formulating a non-alcoholic beverages? That's a question for both of you, Michael and Sarah. Sarah, maybe if you can start, and maybe Michael has something to add.
Sure, no problem. So in terms of alcohol-free alternatives, we can encounter quite a few difficulties, and this is especially true of non-alcoholic spirits. So when you think of a traditional spirit, you can either drink these neat or as a measure then mixed with any typical soft drinks. So developers have a really hard time trying to make alcoholic alternatives which are able to do both. So there's strict rules when it comes to the levels of flavors used within ready-to-drink samples, and this is generally to do with the ethanol or the propylene glycol in flavors. So when we are making a sample that is ready to drink, flavors tend to be less intense and are often covered up by soft drinks that are used as a mixer. In contrast, when we produce a concentrated non-alcoholic drink, there need to be clear on-pack instructions detailing how solutions need to be diluted so that consumers can safely enjoy a product. So this can potentially mean that consumers need to buy 2 products to make a different drink instead of a single spirit.
Okay. Michael, anything to add from your point of view on the coloring part?
No, it was a perfect answer from Sarah.
Okay. Another question here is, brown isn't available in the range shown, Michael. Is there a brown alternative for, say, Coca-Cola type beverages?
Yeah, well, brown is a fantastic color to mix, because you basically just use 3 different colors and you get your own brown of it. So brown is at the end, if you make 3 colors, you will always get a brown. But of course, which is actually quite interesting, because there is a huge range of different brown colors. For example, if you go to our website, you will see we did some tests with a huge range of different, like which of the 3 base colors you use with dosage, and you get your brown out of it. So yeah, it is possible by creating your own brown out of our products, for example.
Okay, perfect. Here got 2 questions actually there for Want to Taste. What would be the minimum order quantity you'd want to taste? That's one question, and somebody else is saying low minimum order quantities are great for new product development and launch, but can you offer them better price for larger quantities, or can we even order larger quantities at Want to Taste? Let's start with the first question first. The minimum order quantities. Yes, we do have very low minimum order quantities. They are based on the smallest available commercial packaging of our supply partners. For example, you've seen the minimum order quantities for coloring food, which are very, very, very low. If you look into flavors, for example, we start at 1 kilogram for vanilla, and for example, 5 kilogram for flavors from Jean-Yel. So even in that respect, it's much lower than what the big companies would request to purchase as a minimum. Can we offer larger quantities? Yes, we can. Actually, we're also selling full container loads to our customers, and anything in between a sample and a full container load can be provided by Want to Taste. And yes, we can also look into a better price if you're looking into much larger quantities that are mentioned on the website, just due to the economy of scale. So please do contact us and request your price for the quantity needed. Again here, can powdered coloring foods also be used in liquid applications, or would you get a sediment?
Yes, you can, like I said, you can use powders. You can use like water or oil or whatever you prefer to create out of a powder a liquid product again. But would be usable, for example, or like a smart while I don't know if you're and you don't have the possibilities to cool it or to storage it well. But I would prefer the liquid products, of course, which is kind of obvious now.
Beverages, yeah,
Yeah.
can imagine. You were also talking about mixing different colors to get other colors, and I've seen in previous presentation with yourself a huge broad portfolio of different colors which you can achieve. Mixing liquid and powder, that's also doable, or would that bring us running into trouble?
No, I wouldn't see the application for it, but you could do it.
It would be possible as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it would be possible. Yeah, why not?
Here, would there be any other opportunities for growth in the beverage which fall outside of the trends presented by you, Sarah? Is a question here.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
There's still plenty of opportunity for growth in areas in traditional drinking spaces, for example, carbonated soft drinks. And one thing we're seeing becoming more and more popular is the use of alternative flavor combinations or seasonal flavor launches to entice consumers and make your product a bit different.
Okay. Here I got a question with regards to hard seltzers and how people understand and see hard seltzers. So we're saying again, we are looking into products similar to hard seltzers, but some of the core features that make it different. After talking to some professional perceptions, hard seltzers by consumers could be confusing for two reasons. Consumers don't understand what a hard seltzer is, and a lot of them link it to worse quality drinking. So what would be the key factors then for exponential growth that Sarah mentioned? You were referring to the United States, where there is a huge growth with regards to hard seltzers, and it's coming this way as well. It's already here, but
yes, I agree. I think there is still a lot of confusion about what hard seltzers are. I think as they do become more popular here, consumers will become more accustomed to them and what to expect when they are drinking them. But yeah, taste is always going to be absolutely imperative when developing products. So until consumers get their head around what a hard seltzer is, I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I would say from my previous experience that you should be able to fulfill the expectations of the consumer. And if you develop a product which is appealing with regards to mouthfeel, tasting, smell, etc., etc., it will definitely have a big chance of flying.
True.
Products which are not fulfilling the expectation of the consumer, of course.
Yeah.
How would you see that?
I would agree.
Hey, that's a short answer.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael, you were talking about alcoholic beverages and coloring foods and alcoholic beverages. You showed an example, which was, of course, an example which is being consumed within the next couple of minutes. You also mentioned that it can be used in alcoholic beverages, but with higher alcohol content and longer shelf life, color might fade. Would there be any advice from your end to say, okay, only use it in products with a shelf life less than, say, 6 months, for example, or only in dark bottles, or?
It's really hard to say like a time period regarding the shelf life, but in general, it's always about how you stress the product. I mean, it's about every food product you use here. How do you stress the product? And if you do stress the product less, you will have a longer, great result out of the product. So I think this is the main point. So if you do have, for example, like a brown bottle, as you said, but definitely in general stress products less. Beer, for example, are in that case in brown bottles. But it really depends on what you do. If you chill the product, if you, like I said, if you have it in a clear bottle while in a bar on the beach while the sun hits it non-stop with high temperatures. So this is like all you kind of have to be aware of while using coloring foods in your application. And if you do so, take care of that and be aware of that, you will definitely get great results.
Okay. You were talking about good for you functional ingredients, Sarah. Here is a question about the claims that people can make on a pack. I think that's a tricky question because I believe with claims you always should be careful, shouldn't you?
Yeah, very. So this really depends on the kind of ingredients you're wanting to make a claim about. For the most part, vitamins and minerals are the main things you're allowed to make claims on. And this will only ever be along the lines of contributes to a normal functioning of the immune system. In terms of other ingredients, you cannot directly make a claim on pack. However, you might be able to tell a story in your wider marketing teams. But yes, always best to check on the EFSA guidelines for Europe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and America is FDA.
Yeah, and may I add that some soft claims would be safer than hard claims?
Yes.
Again here, question for Want to Taste, which people say, okay, you mentioned that the Want to Taste can support the whole journey from ideation to product launch. And then the question is, can you support with product development? I can clearly say yes, we can. That's also why we have service partners like Rssl, for example, but we have more service partners. They can be found as well on the Want to Taste website under services. And when you go to their web pages or the brand pages, you can then also easily click on a 20-minute free consultancy, which allows you as a customer to have a 20-minute chat with one of the Rssl experts or one of the other service partner experts to exchange information about your challenge, etc., and see how you can fulfill that. Otherwise, we have also food technologists in-house who can also support you with your first questions, of course. I think that's more or less all the questions. Did I miss one? I think that's. I think if any questions, please send them now. Well, I believe we already talked about all the questions. When not, in the next couple of say 30 seconds, I will close the webinar. With regards to samples, important to know, if you want to receive a free set of coloring food samples, they will be the powder samples, but as Michael explained, you can use them in liquid beverages as well. At least will give a very clear indication, and if that works, then even liquid samples would be even better. If you're interested, we will send you a link by email. Please use that link, and please do that before the end of the month, because we have made it valid until April 30th. Enter your details, so your name, your address, your company name, etc., etc., and we will make sure you will be sent a box with 14 samples. It's 7 colors, so 2 samples of each color. And of course, if you need more or want to look into liquid samples and or coloring foods, they are also easily to order on Want to Taste. No more questions. So I'm going to thank everybody for attending this webinar. Thank you so much to Sarah. Thank you so much to Michael for your contribution. And I will be looking forward to our next one in the series, which is going to be about dairy alternatives, ice cream, vegan ice cream, which is scheduled for June of this year. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.